All right, good evening, class, and welcome to week number 14. That is right, week number 14 of your 7314 class, which is your reference class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. Jace K. Austin. And what we are going to do this week is a state of the course update, and then I'm going to show you all three commonly used language learning applications or language learning databases that you will find in use at public libraries more so than any other type of library. Two of these are actual quote-unquote library databases, and then the third thing isn't so much a library database, it's something you all are probably already familiar with, Duolingo, but I'm still going to tell you that a lot of libraries do refer their patrons to Duolingo as well if they do not have access to these other two resources that I'm going to show you all tonight or talk about tonight. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into it with the state of the course update. There's not much to be said with the state of the course update because you all are almost at the end. We have this week and we have next week, and then we are going into exam time. So the only things that you all have left, because I'm going to click out of that, if you've turned everything in on time, like I hope you have, then the only two things that you have left are your discussion prompt number 7, which will be due a week from Sunday. It's actually due on May the 2nd, so at the end of the last week of class before exams. And then, of course, your semester-long project that you all, I am sure, have already been working on and have been working on for quite a while. That is going to be due on May the 6th. So you do have some of your exam time to go ahead and continue working on that. I am about 2/3 of the way done with the Wikipedia edit assignments, but I still do have some to go. So if you have not gotten that grade back yet, I do hope to have that back within the coming days, but there's just a lot of other stuff going on, and I'm sure you all can relate to that. But I will get your Wikipedia edit assignments back to you soon. So far, they've mostly been good. So I'm sure that if that trend continues, that you all who have not had yours graded yet don't have anything to worry about. And then I will go on into LibGuide grading. So that's what we have in store, and that's what we have coming up on the horizon. Again, all that you have left are discussion prompt number 7 and the semester-long project to complete. If you have any questions about the semester-long project, you are, of course, welcome to email me at austinj@missouri.edu, or you can also message me via Canvas, which would be preferred, but if you email me, I will definitely respond to your email as well. And that's pretty much it for the state of the course update. So let's get into some of these language learning things. Okay, so we're going to talk about 4 things actually. 2 library databases, 1 over the internet resource, which is Duolingo, and then I'm also just going to mention that libraries do often also have a lot of books and CDs and DVDs and that sort of thing that are language learning materials as well. Okay, pause while we get the first one going. Be right back. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with Mango, and actually, unfortunately, I can't access the other resource that I was going to kind of show you, but I will at least tell you about it. But let's start out with Mango first. So, okay, what is this? What's going on here? Hold on. They are not asking for my library card number, which is unusual. Hold on a second. Okay, and so Mango has switched some things up here, and this is exactly why I have to re-record these every single semester instead of just carry them over from one semester to the next. I think it is good to have something unique for each and every iteration of the class anyway, but yeah, oh my goodness. Okay, so let's, I had to go in as a guest, but what I can do, so when you go in as a guest, so when you go in as a guest, what it will do is it will take you to this page here and allow you to pick a language. And you will see that there are over 70 languages that you can choose from here. Most people, of course, in the United States are using the Spanish or the French, but there are your classic European languages that a lot of people are wanting help with, including your German and your Greek and those sorts of things. But then you do have some languages from other parts of the world. You do have Swahili, which is a East African language spoken, I believe, mainly in Kenya, but also I think a little bit in Uganda. You do have Punjabi, which is a Pakistani language. You have Brazilian Portuguese. So you do have some of these like more, how should I say, localizations of different languages, and I think you have some varying, you have some varying forms of Spanish as well. Have two sets of Chinese there. You have Cherokee, Vietnamese. So you have more than just your typical European languages that we all sort of, or most of us had to sort of learn in high school. And then also for people who are learning English as a second language, there are English resources as well. But anyway, getting aside from all of that, let's just go ahead and pick one. And I'm going to pick one that I know has a lot of stuff in it. So that would be the Spanish Latin American one. And so once you go in, you can, basically they are, this is really, really changing. So this is not how I remember it even from last semester when I last accessed it. But you do have tutorials here. I'm going to go ahead and skip the tutorial, and I'm just going to go dive in.
Even if it seems hard now, you'll learn to have conversations like this easily by the end of the chapter. Hola, ¿cómo está usted?
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Estoy bien.
Gracias.
¿Y usted?
¿Y usted?
Estoy bien también. Gracias.
¿Qué día
tan frío?
Bueno, que tenga un
buen día.
So you have those kinds of things going on, and I am actually going to go back and see if I can find. So I don't like these changes.
Even if it seems hard now.
I don't like these changes that I'm seeing, to be honest with you, because there used to be even kind of like an interactive avatar that you could kind of communicate with in Mango. And I'm not seeing that anymore. Now, let me see if it's in some of the other languages. Now, if you do, so I'm giving you a very rough intro here, but I'm going to need to sort of remaster Mango myself now that I see that it's been changed. But I'm giving you that rough intro here, but then also telling you again that what you need to do if you want to actually master these databases, you're not going to master them from these from these check-in videos. What you need to do is go ahead and well, first see if your local public library has access. Ask your, you can call or contact your local public library and ask them if they have any language learning database or language learning application. And you can mention Mango and Rosetta Stone Library Edition because a lot of libraries do have those. And so even if your particular library doesn't have it, they may still, your librarian may still say, well, we don't have that, but we do have this, and then redirect you to something else, okay? But yeah, I am not liking these changes. So let me see if I can actually leave here and go to, I mean, you do have these main units, introductions, connections, community, lifestyle, and different topics within that. This is situations and small talk, connections, these sorts of things going down. But you can also scroll down and you'll have these specialty units, business, Spanish for librarians, legal, so forth and so on. Let's choose this one and see what happens. Obtaining a library card. Let's see.
When speaking in a formal context, use
¿Cómo está
usted?
To say, how are you? Try to say, how?
¿Cómo está?
Here's how to say, to be.
Estar.
Let's hear that again.
Estar.
Is only one of two verbs meaning to be in Spanish. It is generally used to express emotion.
Okay, so yeah, again, I'm not liking these changes. Let me actually see if vocabulary, numbers, days of the week, explore. This is very, very different from what I remember. So I'm sorry, you all, for the bummer of just looking like a fish out of water here, but let's make this a teachable moment so that I'm not wasting your time here. So one thing that I will say is this is a teachable moment. You also need to, when you enter librarian practice, You do also need to visit your various databases from time to time in some of your downtime. And the reason for that is because the databases do get updated and they get changed. And what you don't want is what I'm experiencing right now. What you don't want is to have a situation occur where you are about to access a database and you think you know the database, and then the database has changed and you're looking at the changes in real time in front of a patron, and the patron is like, oh, this person doesn't know what they're doing. And the reason why it seems like you don't know what you're doing is not because you don't know the database, it's just that you don't know the database in its current iteration. You knew it in a previous iteration. So yeah, this is kind of embarrassing, but I will use that as, again, a teachable moment here. And I do want to see if the content is different for some other languages. So I used to go to the Swahili thing when I was sort of demoing this. When I was sort of demoing this database. So let's see if we have a better time with Swahili, and if Swahili has those things that I was talking about. Okay, nope. This looks like it's the same. So
this chapter will teach you to have delightful conversations like this. Hujambo.
Sijambo. Habari gani?
Nzuri. Jina langu ni Zainabu.
Okay, so yeah, I'm very baffled and actually very disappointed with the changes that I'm seeing in this database, but you all do at least know the database exists, and what you can do is, if you do want to master it, go ahead and look at the tutorial supplied, and hopefully you can also find some tutorials on YouTube for this database. The next one that I am going to just tell you all about, because I cannot log in to Johnson County Library, so it's really a mess tonight, you all. But it is what it is. So another resource that might be useful for you would be Rosetta Stone. So if I go to databases here, you all, I'm sure, remember the old Rosetta Stone. There were all those Rosetta Stone commercials that used to come on many, many years ago, and I'm sure a lot of you remember that. I don't see Rosetta Stone as something that you can purchase in the store these days. I haven't seen it in a while. I go to Best Buy quite a bit. I've been to Walmart and Target recently. I used to see Rosetta Stone in Best Buy, and I don't see it there, and I haven't seen it, as far as I can recall, in Walmart or Target or anything like that either. But there is a Rosetta Stone Library Edition, and so that might be the edition of Rosetta Stone that might be the language learning app, the language learning application or the language learning database that your library uses. It might not use Mango. It might actually use Rosetta Stone. Some libraries have Rosetta Stone, some have Mango, and some have both, and some have neither. So Rosetta Stone is something that you would, Rosetta Stone Library Edition is something that you would be able to access, and I would be able to access if I had my login here. But if it's something that your local public library subscribes to, then it's something that you can use. And again, it's another language learning software. And what I will say is that, again, you will find those tutorials on YouTube. So yeah, accessing Rosetta Stone with your library card, and this is actually at a particular library. But what you can do, again, you can look these up, and there's a short demo here. So I would actually go to one of the library accounts for using Rosetta Stone Library Edition, because I'm not sure what differences there are between Rosetta Stone Library Edition and the regular Rosetta Stone. So if you see a regular Rosetta Stone tutorial, it may not be useful for what you are trying to do. Now, having said that, if you don't want to, and see, a lot of these are being put out by libraries, so it does mean that the libraries are getting in the game of making these here. Oh, and look at this. So, yeah, and so these are what I wasn't going to talk about Babbel, but yeah, Rosetta Stone and Duolingo, you see those, and you see a video here that is, I guess, going to talk about these three. They're not talking about Mango, however. So let's go ahead and with that said, again, if you want to get some practice on Rosetta Stone, go ahead and do that. If that's what your library has, go ahead and access it through your library and go from there. And then also, again, you can use YouTube tutorials. The last thing that I'm going to do is just access Duolingo. And Duolingo is a free language learning software. And who knows, maybe the reason that Mango is scaled back so much is because I've seen even a lot of librarians who have Mango, who have access to Mango, I've seen them using Duolingo. So give me one moment here. Okay, so you should be able to access Duolingo just by really just finding it via Google and then going in and getting started. There is an option for getting started if you don't already have an account, and getting started will allow you to create an account. So, and Duolingo is designed to be fun like a game, and it used to be that Mango was kind of that way too, but it doesn't appear to be that way now. So you can go in. Remember. What in the world? Okay. So you can go in, write this in English. Let's see. So this is how it works. Correct solution, he is Kenyan. Okay. So you can do that and it'll tell you when you're wrong.
Wewe ni Mkenya.
And you can try this again. So you are Kenyan. See, and it does feel kind of like a game. It's sort of fun and that sort of thing. And this is free. Again, it's free. I do think there is a paid version, an upper tier of Duolingo, but the free over the web version is something that you can still use in order to really get your language learning started. And I think that the paid version it has like more features and you can sort of accelerate your pace a little faster. But for most of your patrons, the free version of Duolingo is actually going to suffice. And then the last thing that I do want to say before we wrap this video up, and I'm sorry that I didn't have the ability to actually show you all Rosetta Stone and to actually get in good with Mango and show you the Mango features, but it looks like a lot of the Mango features have been removed. But having said that, the last thing that you do need to be aware of is that, yes, a lot of your public libraries are also, of course, going to have a lot of materials for learning these languages. So you can do, I'm just going to, from Mid-Continent Public Library, I'm just going to do basically a catalog search. And let's see, search the catalog. Let's see. I am going to just put in Swahili and see what comes up. And so as you can see, they've got the Swahili phrase book and dictionary. And by the way, they've got books. Now, Swahili is a more obscure language as far as people in the United States trying to learn it. So you're not going to have as many things. As you can see here, you've got only 10 books, including one large print book, and then you've got like one DVD, one audio CD, and that sort of thing. But if I were to do Spanish, you would have a lot more than just these 15 results. But you do have the phrase book and dictionary for Swahili, and then you have other language learning resources. And when you pick more popular languages like Spanish and French, then you're gonna, I'm not actually gonna do that because the catalog results could be a mess there. But I'm just gonna say when you have more popular languages like Spanish and French, then you're really, really going to, when you have more popular languages, you're going to have a lot more resources, but then also the catalog search could get a little messy because in addition to having more resources, the other thing that you're going to have is going to be a lot of materials that are actually written in Spanish or written in French, and they're going to come up as well depending on what library you are working with and how they catalog those materials. So you just have to be careful with that. Okay, but let me find the Dewey area real quick for you. So finally, yeah, when you are actually trying to refer patrons to the language learning materials, if you are in a public library that is using Dewey and most public libraries still do use Dewey instead of Library of Congress. If you are in a public library that is using Dewey, then the call number ranges that you're going to want to look for in the Dewey Decimal System are your 430 through 499 area. And that's for all sorts of foreign languages: German, French, Italian, Spanish, Swahili, so forth and so on. German, French, Italian, Spanish, so forth and so on, whatever your library has. And if they are, if they are also providing like DVDs and CDs and that sort of thing for people to use to learn languages, then they will probably classify or catalog these materials in the same Dewey range but in the DVD and CD sections. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and leave it right there. This is 20 minutes, and I hope you sped it up. With that said, I am Dr. Jason. You're almost done with this race. You have 1 week left, and I look forward to seeing you all next week with the final check-in video. Y'all take care, and you all have been a wonderful class, but I'm going to shoot all the niceties toward you next week in my final check-in video. Goodbye for now. Thank you.